Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to Jesus and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging, because we are in a remote place here." He replied, "You give them something to eat." They answered, "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, unless we go and buy food for all this crowd." About 5,000 men were there. But he said to his disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." The disciples did so, and everyone sat down. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke them. Then he gave them to the disciples to distribute to the people. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Okay, we're stretching it again. Just like the Last Supper, it is unlikely there were any tables at the feeding of the 5,000. There was no card tables or whatever. They laid on the grass, but it is a feast, right? It is still an image of table and plenty. Plenty. Part of the message of the feeding 5,000 is God provides plentiful for God's people in times of need. But sometimes we don't respond the same way. We sometimes don't always hear very clearly that God will provide for us. And then maybe most importantly, we sometimes are stingy with God, what God has already provided. Oh, maybe it's not food always, but maybe it's with the love and grace of God. Because isn't that what's going on here? Did you notice last week I mixed up the names, by the way? Greg is the uncle, Steve is the nephew. Greg is maybe being stingy with God's grace. What do you think if you were in his shoes? And his nephew, Steve, has come to talk to him about the dispute between Greg and his brother, Steve's father. Now, we just found out in the last episode that Steve's father, Greg's brother, is in the neighborhood somewhere, maybe at a coffee shop or somewhere. And we hear the last play, and thus.
Did you tell him to come?
No, I didn't, I swear. Maybe it's someone else.
Well, for once in my life, I'm hoping it's the Jehovah's Witnesses. I gotta go to the bathroom. You go see who it is.
Me?
Yes, you.
Chicken? This has to be some kind of mistake.
No mistake. I got the address right here in my phone.
Let me see. Well, your screensaver came back on. What is that?
Oh, that's my dog. You like her? She's a butt, ain't she?
A what?
A butt.
I think you mean a beaut. What is she?
Oh, she's a Great Dane French Bulldog and Toy Poodle mix.
It's remarkable how dogs resemble their owners.
Huh?
Nothing.
Ah, here it is.
What's going on here?
We've got donuts. He says this is the right address.
Well, it's right there on my phone. Dave's Donut Delivery. We deliver no holes barred. Get it? No holes barred.
We get it. Do we look dumb?
You want me to answer that?
Well, I don't eat donuts, and I certainly didn't order 4 boxes of donuts.
Well, people do order 4 boxes of donuts. The Lutherans over on First Street do it every Sunday. I don't think they can have church without it. One time we messed up. I was sick, and they didn't make the delivery. Well, they called and yelled, and the next thing you know, well, I just thought they were going to have to cancel service.
Well, I'm not Lutheran, and I certainly didn't order 4 dozen donuts.
What kind are they?
What does it matter? We didn't order them.
I'm just curious. Unless there's one of those chocolate frosted ones with the white creamy center and apple fritter?
No apple fritters.
It doesn't matter.
You got one of those special coffee pots.
Yes, we do.
Does it make good coffee?
Yes, it does.
I love my coffee.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Steve, really? We didn't order the donuts and now you're offering him a cup of coffee? Besides, I'm running low on to-go cups.
Well, I can drink it here.
Look, I'll give you some money for some coffee.
Well, I figured you'd give me a tip. Do you know what they charge for coffee nowadays?
A tip for donuts I didn't order?
Well, maybe you didn't order them, but they were ordered for here.
I'll get your coffee.
You'll do no such thing.
Until we figure all this out.
There's nothing to figure out.
You used to like donuts.
Not anymore.
You used to give us donuts.
Not anymore. They're bad for you.
Do you have the receipt? Did he pay with a credit card?
It came in over the phone, yeah. Cream, no sugar.
I have the powdered stuff.
Well, I guess that'll do.
Well, I guess that'll do.
Do you have a copy of the credit card receipt?
I do somewhere. Let me see. Oh.
How do you do business like that?
Well, I'm not Dave. I just deliver.
How does Dave do business with you?
Well, not by paying me much, I can tell you that. Here you go. 4 dozen mixed donuts.
Let me see.
There's your coffee.
Thank you.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm drinking my coffee at this table.
There it is. This is the receipt from this morning. Dad insisted on paying for my gas, so I went and I grabbed a receipt. And it's the same credit card number. Dad ordered these donuts.
That's crazy.
What else could it be?
Well, why would he do something like that?
Well, you know why. It says here he ordered them 2 days ago.
What?
He ordered these donuts 2 days ago.
Well, an order that big has to be made in advance. Well, donuts don't make themselves, you know. We can't give away all our donuts on one order. Well, then somebody comes in and they want a donut and we don't have any donuts, so they don't come back. It's good coffee.
I'm glad you like it.
I guess since these are your donuts, I can have one.
What?
Well, they're yours, but you're not going to eat them all, are you?
Maybe I will.
Have a donut.
Your son's nice.
Not my son.
Looks like you.
He's my brother's son. He's my nephew. My brother's the one that made the order.
Well, that explains it.
Explains what? This guy is irritating me.
You see what I mean? Your brother must be nice. His son is much nicer than you are. Hey, look, you may as well have one. Good donut. Well, look here, there's all kinds. There's lemon, and sprinkles, and chocolate, and iced, and coconut.
I can see.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't you get enough of those at work?
No, the bottom of the lettuce. He says it's bad for business. He says makes people think donuts make you chubby.
Well, they do.
Well, they also make you happy. So you should try one, or 2, or 3.
You know why Dad ordered these donuts. You remember.
I remember.
I don't.
This doesn't concern you.
Well, I brought the donuts.
So?
Well, I have a right to know.
So, Uncle Greg, when I was young, we used to call him Uncle Donut.
Uncle Donut? Mm-hmm. Was he chubby?
No, he wasn't chubby. But when I was a kid, we would stay over here from time to time, and this cheery fellow right here would bring us donuts. Every morning we wake up to at least a dozen donuts on the table. And do you know why?
Because his wife couldn't cook?
No.
No, because my dad, his brother, wouldn't let us have any.
Well, no, that just sounds cruel. I thought you said he was nice.
He is nice.
So he wouldn't let you eat any donuts?
Never, never. He said they were bad for us. We were only allowed to have homemade cookies and cakes from Grandma and Mom.
That's crazy.
He said that there were additives and chemicals in the flour and the sugar that would stunt our growth and spoil our brains.
I eat donuts all the time, and look at me.
Maybe your dad isn't crazy.
Thank you.
So, are you done?
I guess so.
Well, then all I can say is thank you. But why don't you take these donuts somewhere else? Take them to the Lutherans,
Well, they're closed.
to the police station,
They don't think that's funny anymore.
to the shelter.
I can't take them nowhere. I have to leave them here.
Then leave them.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, you don't.
What?
You expect a tip after drinking my coffee and eating my donuts.
You didn't even want the donuts.
So,
Here. Thank you.
goodbye.
I told you he was nice. If you like him, just give us a call or go see the Lutheran church.
I don't do church.
I can tell.
What was your dad thinking?
I think he was trying to remind us of better times.
With donuts?
That we ate at this table. I think there's probably some donut cracks or donut crumbs in this crack. I think I see a sprinkle.
Oh, very funny.
Do you know what's really weird though?
Yeah, that delivery guy.
Don't you remember? Dad ordered these donuts 2 days ago.
So?
So, 2 days ago, he didn't even know I was going to be here.
Well, maybe you talked about it.
No, I told you, we didn't. It just sort of happened, or at least I thought it did.
Do you think he somehow planned it, you being here?
It seems that way.
Maybe. Maybe he meant them to be funny for me. Or maybe he meant them to be mean. Like, here, take these donuts and stick them somewhere. Because I gave you donuts.
He didn't think that. He thought it was funny that we called you Uncle Donut.
Really? He never told me that.
Of course not.
I just don't get it.
All this time, I thought that I was here for Dad. That I was here to try and get you two to talk, to heal things up. Maybe not.
What then?
Maybe I'm here to heal things up between the two of us. Maybe that's Dad's intention the whole time.
There's no problem between us.
You know there is.
You haven't done anything to me.
The sins of the parents are often visited upon the children. Things haven't been the same since all this went down with the family. We don't hang out like we used to. And even when we do at a funeral or whatever, it's polite, but it's not kind or good.
I am good to you. I came to your graduation.
Yes, Yes, you did. You came, you slapped me on the back. You and Aunt Martha gave me a very generous present. It was great. But you and Dad barely spoke to each other. There was a cloud hanging overhead.
Not my fault.
It's all of our faults.
Your dad sometimes...
My dad has many faults, I know. But he was trying to say he was sorry.
Now? With donuts?
No, I think he's just trying to, like I said, remind us of better times, of laughter around this table, and food, and sweets, and grace.
I remember. I don't hold anything against you, Steve.
I know you don't, not intentionally, but I look like my dad. I remind you.
Yes.
No, at least he didn't send us 4 dozen fish.
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember that camping trip we went on? That one where we caught all those bluefish and we didn't know what to do with them? But Grandma did. Remember, she made like 100 fish loaves and then made us help her take them to the park with chips and drinks and fruit.
Yeah, we must have fed 200 hungry and homeless people that day. That was a good day. And you know what I remember when I think about that day? What Aunt Martha made us remember?
Yeah?
Fishes and loaves. Feeding 5,000. She said we didn't really feed 5,000 people that day, but we sure came close. We laughed. There was so much goodness. God will provide, she said.
Maybe Dad is trying to play Jesus again, this time with donuts.
I didn't know that Jesus was a Lutheran.
Very funny. No, don't you know that if he just sent a dozen, we probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. But 4 dozen, that makes us think about extravagance and how God can be extravagant. Remember after he fed the 5,000, there were 12 baskets left over? My Sunday school teacher always said that God always gives enough grace, even more than you need. Maybe that's what Dad's doing with these donuts.
With donuts. You know, I wonder if there's a Bavarian cream in there.
I don't know.
Well, you know how you find out. Stick your finger in.